Every wholesale distribution company loses hundreds of thousands of dollars every time a veteran sales rep leaves. Most owners know that this is a problem, but after repeated attempts, they've still failed to fix it. By the time they figure it out, they're losing and the accounts are already drifting, and the new rep is already 3 months behind. I'm going to spend the next 12 minutes showing you exactly how that revenue leaks out of your business, why the exit interview and the CRM don't stop it, and the specific process we use to pull 20 years of customer knowledge out of a departing rep's head and put it into a single document that your new rep can use right away. If you have a rep that's going to be leaving in the next 90 days, or you're worried about the ones you're going to lose to turnover or from just general retirement, then this is worth every second of the next 12 minutes of your time. My name's Nate Tudis, and I've spent over a decade in wholesale distribution, both as a salesperson, a sales manager, and as a consultant, working with companies across HVAC, packaging and janitorial supplies, industrial distribution, and more. I've watched this same scenario play out more times than I can count. A company has a rep who's been with them for 15, 20, maybe even 30 years. That rep is the face of the business for a couple hundred accounts. And when they leave, everyone thinks that the CRM has what the new rep is going to need, but it doesn't. I've sold in industries, managed teams in your industry, and I've helped build sales teams across your industry. I'm not a coach, I'm not a consultant selling you just a slide deck and some ideas that I have in my head. I'm somebody who has actually run the sales side of the business and watched accounts move when the wrong things get missed. That's why we built the Tenure Extractor. It's the process I wish existed when I was the new rep coming in and when I was the manager taking over the team. It's what we now use in distribution with owners all across the country. Let me tell you what exactly happens when a tenured rep gives their notice. The owner calls a meeting, they schedule the exit interview, HR pulls out the standard sheet, they ask the rep to update the CRM, they pair the departing rep with a new rep for 2 weeks for ride-alongs, or worse, the sales manager does the ride-alongs and hopes that they capture all that they can. Then the rep is gone. 90 days later, revenue starts slipping and nobody can figure out why. Here's what didn't actually make it in the CRM. Your biggest accounts on the reps list always reorder the day after Memorial Day, and nobody wrote it down. The buyer at the second biggest account hates email and only responds to text messages on his cell, which you no longer have. There's a verbal pricing arrangement on 3 accounts that's been honored for 11 years, and it's written down nowhere. The receiving manager at one of your top 10 customers is the person who decides whether your shipment gets unloaded first or last, and the old rep used to bring that guy coffee every Friday. Nobody told the new rep. Nobody shared it with the sales manager, and nobody in the team knew that this was happening. None of that is in the CRM, or is it stored anywhere in the notes within the ERP. None of it came up in the exit interview. And now you're bleeding accounts, and the new rep is 120 days in, wondering what exactly it is that they walked into. That's not a training problem, that's a knowledge transfer problem, and it costs distribution companies more than any other single risk that they carry, because the accounts don't all leave at once. They leave one at a time, quietly, and by the time you notice, the revenue is already gone. One company documented $2.3 million loss when a 28-year veteran retired. Not over a year, but over 4 months. Between lost productivity, trial and error, ramp-up times, quality issues, and blown customer relationships. One person, 4 months, and that same dynamic plays out at various scales all across the industry. Anywhere your business runs on experienced people. So the question is, what do you do? Because here's the thing that makes this worse than it even used to be. This used to be a once-in-a-decade problem, a random retirement, a promotion to a new role, someone getting bought out, or a rep getting poached by a competitor. But not anymore. The average tenure for a Gen Z employee is around a year. That means that the rep that you hired last year is statistically already looking for their next job. And the one that you hire to replace them is on the same timer. Every single time, every single cycle, knowledge leaves. Every cycle, accounts get worse before they get better. And most owners are so focused on the retention problem, they never realize the actual bleed is happening at the knowledge transfer step. You can't stop the turnover. That train has already left. But you can stop the bleeding. Let's talk about how most owners actually try to fix this. Most owners try to solve this in one of 4 ways. And I want to walk you through each of them and how each one of these ways falls short. One is the CRM, and that's if your reps fill it out. And that's a big if, because 70% of CRM projects fail. But even when they do, the sales rep doesn't actually fill out the CRM the way management would usually want them to. They enter contact info, pricing, maybe even order history, but they do not enter the relationship dynamics, personal preferences, unspoken rules, or off-book deals. The CRM has data, it doesn't have knowledge. The second way is the exit interview. HR runs this. HR is trained to ask compliant questions, not account transition questions. The exit interview covers why are you leaving and what could we have done better. It doesn't cover walk me through the buyer's decision process and the nuances within each of your accounts. The third way is simply shadowing. You pair a new rep with an old rep for 2 weeks. The problem is the old rep is essentially a lame duck at this point. They're checked out. They tell stories, they don't structure knowledge, and 2 weeks in is not enough to cover all the nuance that they've built over years and years and years in your industry. The fourth way is they just wing it. The new rep introduces themselves, does their best, and the accounts either forgive and forget or they don't. The default is that money walks out the door, and it walks out every time, and you start leaking revenue. None of these are the process. None of these fix the actual problem. They're actually just patches that try to do their best to solve it. What actually works is a structured extraction process, a specific set of questions asked in a specific order, recorded and documented, converting the rep's 20 years of knowledge into a single living document that your new rep can read on day one. Not an exit interview, not a CRM update, a process built for this one specific purpose, this one problem to solve. That's what tenure extraction is. And here is how it works. 1, the interview question set, a field-tested list of questions covering account preferences, key contacts, pricing history, relationships dynamics, pending opportunities, and the unspoken rules that never make it into the CRM. Ordered so answers build on each other. 2, the run the process SOP, video walkthroughs that me and my team have put together showing you exactly how to set up, run, and document the interview itself. Whoever conducts the session runs it the same way every single time. 3, the PDF field guide, a printed version of the SOP that sits next to the person running the interview during the live session so they always know where they are in the process. 4, the output template, a standardized format that turns the raw interview content into a single account-by-account living document. Your new rep opens one file and gets everything they need from day one. 5, a walkthrough call with me. Before you run the process, we get on a 30-minute call and you bring the name of the rep. We pressure test the actual plan and you go in with the full playbook so we ensure you get exactly what you need. 6, lifetime access. You buy this once and you can run it every transition, every retirement, every promotion for every department forever. We hold nothing back on this. The whole process takes a few hours of focused work, focused effort, and once you're ready to run it, you end with a document the rep can actually absorb. Let me tell you why this actually works and what this looked like for companies who actually run it. Imagine this scenario. You have a tenured rep leaving after 20 plus years in a given territory. They have over 100 accounts on their list and millions of dollars that they're responsible for that run through that territory. And they're retiring in just 2 weeks. You have 2 options. Do things the way that you've always been doing them, or maybe conduct a simple exit interview. You ask some questions about accounts you need to be aware of, And when was the last time that the CRM information was actually updated, or maybe even just a simple spreadsheet? Then you waste hours of time trying to glean anything meaningful from that process. Or you can run the Tenure Extractor. And over the course of a few hours, you get a recorded interview that captures everything. We then take that transcript, we process it, and we turn it into a single document that breaks down the key information for every account. We then turn that into a podcast-style interview that the new rep or manager can actually listen to in their car. They can listen to it on their drive to the account to familiarize themselves with all the information. They also get a slide deck that breaks things down account by account and a simple infographic as a quick reference the incoming rep can use to get up to speed quickly. This makes it easy to not only capture the information, but also gives you the ability to process and leverage that information quickly and easily. That is what this is built to do. So here's everything that you get when you say yes today. You get the interview question set. You get the run the process SOP with video walkthroughs. You get the PDF field guide. You get the single document output template and the one-on-one walkthrough call with me. You also get lifetime access so that you run this on every rep, every transition forever. Total value of this entire package, if we were to put all the things together, is over $3,300. Today, you can get the full system for just one payment of $9, one-time lifetime access. The reason we can offer this at such a low price is because the process is packaged. The interview structure is already written and proven. The SOPs are already created. The template is already built. What you're paying for is the compressed decades of experience it took to build this, tailored to your specific business and your unique scenario. Plus, the walkthrough call with me before you run the process to ensure that you get it right as you're going through the interview. Here's the reality. If you have a rep leaving in the next 30, 60, or maybe even 90 days, the clock is already running. You cannot afford to get on a call with them after they're gone. You can't extract knowledge from someone who's no longer on the payroll or is already checked out. The window is now, and the process only takes a few hours. You don't need to buy this because we're running a sale. You need to buy this because your rep walks out the door on a specific date, and the accounts they've been holding together for 15 or 20 years walk out with them if you don't have a plan. If that's your situation, hit the button below the video and let's get started. So click the button below. When you do, you'll land on the order page. Fill out your information, enter your card, and you get immediate access. I'll be in touch to schedule your walkthrough within the first 24 hours. If you're on the fence, ask yourself one question. If this rep walks out and you lose even one account, what does that cost you over the next 3 years? On average, 13 to 18% of a territory's revenue is lost within the first 12 months after a rep departs. That means if you put a new rep in that territory immediately, and we all know that isn't always the case, but you give that rep a 10% goal, something simple, grow the territory by 10%, they have to fight that 13 to 18% loss on top of everything. So the question is, what would 13 to 18% of one of your account territories be worth to you? The process takes a few hours. The system pays for itself the first time you use it, and you own it forever. Click the button, and I'll see you on your walkthrough call.